these rosters was born. The last time these two teams met. Pretty amazing if you feel old yet. I certainly do.
I was in my prime the last time they played.
Micah Gray off the mark in the opening jumper for Oklahoma State, debuting the new white uniform today. The Islanders run the floor and get an early bucket. That was Holiday in transition.
Yeah, Holiday coming off an excellent game against Texas State. Played her best game of the year, 14 points there, and was able to beat Oklahoma State down the floor.
The last time buries the early jumper here.
Well, Timmer, obviously one of the premier shooters, I mean, honestly, probably in the country. What happened at St. John, they were very physical with her. I think that's a good opportunity for her to get a feel for what Big 12 Conference play might be.
She only ended up taking 2 field goal attempts in that entire game.
Well, that's what was impressive about St. John's, I thought, defensive, is you see A&M-Corpus Christi in zone, which they will play some tonight. They will mix it up. They did a good job of holding Timmer and Micah Gray in check from range, and it wasn't just the three-point makes, it was even the attempt total. They weren't able to break free like they typically are able to.
Loose ball after Timmer tried to give it away. Instead, Akotwin set the screen and an early turnover for Oklahoma State. Turnovers likely to play a big role in this game. The Islanders turn it over as much as anybody in the country, 21 times per contest.
Like we said, Oklahoma State's ball pressure this year has been really good. Got a lot of guards that can get out and pressure the basketball.
Holiday with the hook, left it short. Akotwin with the rebound, and she'll run the break. Timmer wants to drive. Underneath to Akotwin. Hurd. Off the mark. Timmer got in there for the board, but committed the foul in the process. Here's the look at their keys to the game first for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, just, regain your toughness. I mean, they've got, as J.C. Hoyt said, we got hit in the mouth and could have responded better and got to that grinder, but he said this team got a lot of upside, and it's how you finish. We talked about how well Oklahoma State starts. They'll have games here, more on the road where they start well, but end of the game execution, toughness, defensive stops, taking care of the ball. That's what she wants to improve on, not only tonight, but in upcoming games as the schedule continues to get tougher.
Samora Watson, the team's leading scorer, picks up an early personal foul here. Watson averages more than 12 a game, but is shooting just 29% from the field on the year. Into Staley Hurd. Hurd hasn't quite put up her usual numbers early on this season, and there's an early turnover from Staley.
Well, that's a great double, even triple team right there, surrounding Hurd at Corpus Christi. What they did, they were strong, didn't reach, and made Hurd try to make a play, causing the turnover.
Comes a screen for Wooten, not related to Jaden Wooten, who we'll see for Oklahoma State before too long. Hurd comes down with the rebound on the miss. Timmer outside to Gray. 0 for 2 early on for Micah Gray. The Islanders rebound. Whiting, a nice job cutting off the ball coming up the floor.
Really good pressure on the ball out front. Really works those guards, kind of wears them down over time through 40 minutes.
Staley Hurd with an early foul. And here's a look at the Islanders' keys to the contest.
Yeah, Toledo Griffin, really enjoyed our conversation with her today. Got a bright head coaching future. Transition defense, she talked about that. Obviously, when you play Oklahoma State, you got to get back and put them in the half court. Ball security. Now, this team has struggled at times taking care of it. But she felt like if they have better success curtailing their turnovers, that they'd be able to hang around.
And that part of the game is why Chelsea Wooten and squad averaged 36% from the foul line. They're a top 60 three-point shooting team in the country, even against a tough schedule early on. Lena Girardi trying to respond, couldn't hit. The 3 Islanders early.
Yeah, they definitely have some play. You're right. 2 or 3 players with given good looks can make you pay from long range.
Oklahoma State, Brendan, had not had less than 12 points before an opponent got to 4 in Gallagher-Iba Arena this year. They find themselves trailing 5-3 early. Mid-range jumper. A little bit of a line drive, but it hits for Watson.
Yeah, that's Watson. Watson doesn't take a lot of threes. She hasn't taken a three in 3 games, but she is terrific downhill and getting to the paint. Was not just to get a returner, the level of player that she is, but particularly at that guard position. As you see Girardi knocking down for Oklahoma State, she's a terrific combo guard. She's got toughness, and those things are huge. Anytime you can get anybody to return, this day and age, it's a huge win, particularly when you're first-year head coach.
Lena Girardi knocking down that triple. Coach mentioned that she's been one of the more vocal leaders over the last couple of days in practice for Oklahoma State. Coming off of the loss, there's a whistle and a foul, maybe away from the ball here. In any case, no, it's 3 in the key. The Cowgirls will get the ball back.
Well, that's underneath, little working away from the ball from Girardi. Oklahoma State, good movement against that half-court defense.
5:09 to play, first quarter. Hurd dribbles it back out. Looking for the post feed, instead skips it all the way across the zone. Three-pointer in and out. Lena Girardi in there fighting for the rebound, and she continues to be kind of the engine pushing things right now on the floor for the Cowgirls. Timmer set to check back in at the next stop for Oklahoma State. Pull up from the elbow, off the mark. Girardi on the sprint. Gallagher-Iba underneath, run the lane, missed the bunny. Cowgirls missed a few of those against St. John's as well. Turnover, ball on the sideline there for the Islanders.
Well, what Coach Wilson was hoping is, make a couple shots early, kind of slow down Oklahoma State tempo-wise. They got some help when Gallagher-Iba missed the bunny on that other end, but she has to be pleased with this start in a little over 5 minutes.
Cowgirls just 2 for 8 so far, trying to solve this Islanders zone. Staley Hurd, pretty good at that. She rattles it home.
Now, St. John's, again, very good defensively. They made it tough on Hurd as well, but what was positive, at least I felt like, is she was aggressive, more aggressive maybe than she's been all season long. Got to the line 12 times. I'd like to see her just kind of bust out offensively tonight. I think when she plays at the high level that she's capable, Oklahoma State's going to be as confident as they can be.
You just heard it over the PA speaker. Staley Hurd has just crossed the 1,000 career point mark, getting a standing ovation from the Cowgirl faithful. Long pass in. Oh, and a deep three-pointer on the way, off the mark. Shot clock was running down. Girardi has the ball knocked away from behind. It'll stay with Oklahoma State.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about with Coach Hoyt, I always ask, after a tough loss, what's the psyche of your team? And she said, it was not a fun plane ride home when you get beat anytime. But the first person she mentioned was Staley Hurd, and her leadership, and how she's kind of stepped up the last few days, even more than she typically does. I mean, she plays with such passion, but not always vocal, but been more vocal. And she thinks the team will respond to that.
Hurd too strong on that one, but Gallagher-Iba able to track down the rebound. Those are the kinds of plays, shots are going to go in or not, those are the kinds of plays Coach Hoyt wants to see. Timmer near the corner. No. Hurd with the offensive rebound. Wooten likes the mid-range more. Instead kicks to Hurd. Through some contacts. Can't finish, but she'll go to the line.
Yeah, a couple of offensive rebounds for Oklahoma State. Wooten active up front, and then the versatility of Hurd. We've seen her knock down a 3 so far here tonight. Right there, strong drive to the basket, and gets to a spot where she can really make a living as a prolific scorer.
splits the free throws. J.C. Hoyt, the last time the Islanders brought the ball up the floor, was hollering at her team, trying to increase the ball pressure. This is where she wants to see a difference tonight on this end of the floor. Timmer knocks it away along with Hurd. 3-on-2 break. Kicked out. Whiting for three. Yes.
Well, that's a tough shot right there by Whiting. Backpedaling to find the three-point line. You talk about Whiting's defense and rebounding, which is elite from the guard position, really. She'll remind you every once in a while that she can really score.
Timmer goes up for the board off the three-point miss. Oklahoma State on a 10-0 run in the last 3.5 minutes. About a 4-minute scoring drought from Corpus Christi. Hurd, 1-on-1. And defense this time for the Islanders. There's a foul. Goes against Asha Walker, the junior transfer from Chicago State. Girardi and Akot in. Hurd and Gallagher-Iba out. Back to zone here for the Islanders. Cutting down the lane, Akot is fouled. Boy, Wooten's quickness is really tough to deal with against a zone because she can work her way in there.
Yeah, and you love her just being active up front. I mean, she's constantly moving the ball at the right time, attacking gaps. I mean, she drives to draw help. Obviously, she can get to the basket with her quickness, has a terrific mid-range game. But she just sees the floor so well. You go back to the game last Wednesday up in New York. You know, I thought Wooten played pretty well. 10 points, 4 assists. She was solid. And you look at her last 4 games, Adam, she's averaging 11 points and 7 assists. But the most impressive stat, she has a 7-to-1 assist turnover ratio in those 3 games.
Top 30 in the country in assists so far this season. The Cowgirls force a turnover on the other end.
Well, Oklahoma State can certainly do that. Pressure out front, extend you. And most of the time it starts with Whiting picking up full court, or certainly when a ball handler gets past mid-court. You know, that part of it's really good. Oklahoma State's got to continue to improve in terms of dribble containment once the offense settles in, and then weak side rotations, also room for improvement.
Wooten in the high post, off the mark with the jumper.
Held them to 1 look, got off and running.
Jaden Wooten, who you saw there a moment ago, with 3 assists in the first quarter, no turnovers. She was instrumental in creating some easy looks for Oklahoma State down the stretch as part of that run. Islanders with it on the perimeter. Watson from the baseline, off the mark, but a foul on Whiting.
I think A&M-Corpus Christi knows the challenge that they have today. Joya Wilson basically told us that when we talked to her. She just wants them, to compete, play tough. And it felt like as long as they kept Oklahoma State out of transition, and part of that is taking care of it. They had 8 turnovers in the first quarter. If they can keep from turning it over, they can make Oklahoma State work a little bit.
Cowgirls turned it over a couple of times themselves early on, and then did not for the rest of the quarter. 2 misses there, but an offensive rebound followed by a travel. That was a little bit of a roller coaster of events there. The Cowgirls get it back. Put it right on her hip. Oklahoma State trying to keep the offense moving here. Whiting behind the screen. Shot flashed to the post and missed her. Hurd driving instead, had it knocked loose. And it's out of bounds. It'll stay with Oklahoma State.
The terminology confirmed. They said, hey, we got it right first time.
Timmer tried to go up and under. A caught, cleans up the miss. Full court pressure. Broken on the dribble by Watson. Here's the double team. Watson in trouble. Able to bounce it away, and a foul. Cott picks up the foul. She was one of 5 Cowgirls to foul out in that contest at St. John's. A lot of that, though, we heard from Coach Hoyt was how the game played out, needing to start fouling early in that one. Post to Holiday. 8 to shoot. Not much ball movement on this possession from the Islanders. Wooten can let it fly. There it is, a high arcing shot, no good. Timmer running, no numbers. Back to her to reset. An offensive foul. Hurd went to set the screen. She'll get charged for the foul. The timing seemed off on that.
Yeah. A&M-Corpus Christi off the long range shot and miss. Again, doing a good job sprinting back in transition. Just a little extra right there from Staley Hurd.
Hurd averaging about 12 points per game and a little shy of 5 rebounds per contest. Not quite the numbers that we were used to seeing from her a year ago. As, Whiting knocks it away.
And she is fine, but you look back at that Oral Roberts game. She took that fall, right? Only played 16 minutes because of that. The next game against Prairie View 2 days later, which showed her toughness. She was able to play, but they limited her minutes just to be safe. There's only been 1 game this season. That was at St. John's, where she played more than 28 minutes.
Deflected out of bounds as Timmer was trying to get it to the corner. Interesting spot to throw it in here from, basically in the corner on the sideline. Whiting splits defenders, but misses from close range. Gallagher-Iba nearly traveled with it. Here's Gray with an open look. No, got the stick. Looked like a sand wedge coming out of there.
Yeah, it didn't look as smooth as it typically does from Gray right there.
Gray with the defensive play now. Whiting will drive it, and the trailer defender knocks it away out of bounds. It will stay with Oklahoma State.
Here's that one from Gray. It's Gallagher-Iba. That high motor, rebound, right there with 2 hands, kicks it out. Boom. You probably too. You remember the old Tylus Baladas? You familiar with those?
No.
It's a ball back in the day that was so soft. I mean, honestly, you hit it, but the 4th time you hit it, you put a cut in it. Looked like a balata when it hit that rim up there.
I mean, if I could get my wedge to zip like that, it'd take about 6 strokes off my round. Timmer gets one to fall.
Yeah, good ball, but that was just a lot more activity, more crisp. Defense shifting, trying to catch up.
Gallagher is really applying some pressure. 3-pointer good, but a player down for Corpus Christi.
Painful right there. She'll go back. They'll probably assess her and certainly tape it up. But toughness walking off the floor with that play right there by Woot.
Sidestep 3, no good. And a foul on the rebound attempt against Oklahoma State. That goes against Gallagher-Iba, her first.
Now, one of the things playing primarily zone, at least through the first half for the Islanders, is very difficult to rebound out of that because you're not naturally matched up with an offensive player to turn and block off.
Here comes a triple team. We have a timeout, I believe, from the court.
You go to A&M. Santa Clara is a good ball club. if they could just get to where they can take care of it just a little bit better. They've had stretches where they've played well against some of these teams, and you've seen it in glimpses here tonight against Oklahoma State.
Deflected away off of Oklahoma State. Girardi was frustrated that she didn't get the turnover. Just 4 seconds on the shot clock for the Islanders. Walker may not realize, now lets it rip. And she banks it in from way downtown.
Well, that'll count tomorrow when you look at the box score, but Walker has shot it well this year from long range, 50%.
I gotta think that that's a possession that J.C. Hoyt would be generally happy with defensively. Forced a fairly well contested 35-footer. Gray off the mark again. She is 1 for 5 now from downtown in the contest. (17 of the Cowgirls' 23 field goal attempts have been from beyond the arc. To shoot. Still pressure. Knocked away by Wooten on the dive. And a cut. Gets bumped in transition.
Watch this play right here, Adam, by Wooten. I mean, you have the pressure out front. And Watson of the Islanders trying to come up the floor right here. Wooten, look at that. Extra effort. Taps it up the floor with the correct hand. I mean, that is terrific effort. Textbook defense right there from your sophomore.
Looks like a shortstop diving for a hard grounder up the middle on there. Girardi, her family familiar with shortstops, as she works her way around and gets to the rim for 2. Still more than 5 minutes to go in this second quarter. Pinballed around underneath after the miss. And I think it's going to go to Oklahoma State. There's another player down for Corpus Christi. Looks like she'll be okay. Holiday checking back in. Players coming in for Corpus Christi handing a towel to their teammate heading to the bench in case they need one. There was also a mountain of lifesavers down on that end that they had ready to go for the game.
Really?
Yep, both the fruit and the mint kinds. They were all inclusive with their lifesavers.
It does not surprise me that you noticed that.
I've always got my eye out for food pretty much anywhere. I don't know that I would call myself a foodie, but I am an eater at the very least. Faith Acker checking into the game for the first time. She did not play in the Cowgirls contest at St. John's. Free throw line jumper off the mark.
Well, A&M-Corpus Christi has done a really good job up to this point, at least controlling the tempo. Oklahoma State, with the exception at the end of the first quarter, has not really been able to get in that offensive transition mode that they typically do.
Acker with the board off the miss. Girardi in transition. The Cowgirls, Brendan, it feels like they haven't shot it that great from 3, but they're shooting 41% rather. Acker with the board and stick back.
Yeah, good to see Acker get in here the first half and get some minutes. As you and I have talked about, I would anticipate her being an important piece coming off the bench with her size and some of her skill set, particularly when we get to Big 12 conference play. So Oklahoma State can match up in certain situations at the 5. Nice rebound and put back by her on that last possession.
It's another 2+ minute scoring drought for the Islanders, but that is ended by Samora Watson.
Yeah, Watson, well, she's so good downhill. Now, she hasn't been able to turn the corner necessarily tonight. But when you got a mid-range like that 1 or 2 rhythm dribbles can help you get in a situation where you're feeling smooth in terms of your jumper.
Oh, Wooten with the teardrop. That was pretty. Whiting again pressuring out near half court. Oh, a foul out way out on the perimeter on a Chol Akat. That's her second personal.
Now here's Wooten. That last possession, little movement, think she's really making good decisions this season, basically isolated on the ball reversal and that explosive first couple of steps from her.
It's such a throwback point guard game, too. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, she's obviously a willing passer. We've talked about she drives to create help. She'd be great to play with. She has great vision. She's simplified her game this year in terms of decision making. Less home run type passes, if you will. When the simple play is required, she's been making that for the most part. That's why, high assist rate to turnover all season long, especially the last couple of basketball games.
Our stat extraordinaire's computer was smoking, and now I know why. Jaden Wooten, of the 8 top rotational players minutes-wise, she plays the fewest minutes, but she leads in individual assists by 16. Has 37 total, so she's really dishing it out when she's on the floor. Timmer missed it from close range. Girardi got in there to tie it up and eventually ripped it away, but it's a jump ball. It'll stay with Oklahoma State.
Well, that says a lot. Obviously Wooten is the best playmaker, or the truest of playmakers on this team, but Hurd can create, Whiting can create, certainly. Gray has that ability. So to have that discrepancy, the clip with which she facilitates, pretty impressive.
Top 15 in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. It's gotten better so far today. 3 assists, no turnovers. She'll be inbounding here. Will Wooten from the baseline. 34-16 Oklahoma State. 2.5 minutes to play before halftime. All the way around to Wooten. And she shuffled her feet. First turnover of the game for Jaden Wooten.
But that one right, it's not a live ball. That was just got going a little too quick.
That was a dangerous pass, and Staley Hurd takes it away. Kicks to the corner where Timmer's wide open. Got it. 37-16 Oklahoma State, and another takeaway. Gray bumps, can't get it to go, but she'll go to the line. Gray 1 for 5, maybe a trip to the stripe can get her going a little bit.
Well, you see what your defense does, right? It not only creates opportunities, but it gets you in rhythm. Oklahoma State very much a rhythm offensive team. And even on the next or the ensuing play where Gray finds herself at the line on that turnover, you turn them over, you advance the ball, you attack. And that goes back to what you and I were talking about earlier in the half. Oklahoma State, they're going to run into some teams that guard well. Big 12 play, maybe shots aren't falling. How do you get your offense going? It's this end of the floor. They got to continue to believe in that more and more.
Pick and roll action. It's out of bounds. Last touch by Corpus Christi. Jaden Wooten with a nice effort play off of that free throw miss a moment ago, even though it didn't quite work out. She'll bring the ball up the floor here.
Yeah, and that turnover number continues to mount for the Islanders. That's 15 now.
The Cowgirls, after 2 early turnovers, have only turned it over twice in about the last 15 minutes. Hurd for 3. Couldn't get the roll. Gallagher-Iba kept it alive. But it falls to the Islanders. Nearly taken away there. Good to see Wooten back out on the floor. Chelsea Wooten, remember, limped off earlier after stepping on the ankle of an opponent, and good to see her back out there for Corpus Christi.
You could definitely tell she had some toughness to her because she went down. She went down quickly when she stepped on the back of Whiting's heel. But when she got up and walked off on her own.
I'm not even sure they retaped that ankle.
Yeah, your thought was like, I didn't want to say it, because obviously you don't know the situation for sure, but you felt like she was going to be back. good to see her out there.
Under a minute to play before halftime. Her driving and a bump foul. Called against Marissa Shelton, her first personal. Just the team's third, so no free throws yet for Oklahoma State. Timmer. Gray lets it fly. That one's short. 1 for 6 for Micah Gray from three-point range in the game.
Yeah, to me, it's just a little bit off. And it's kind of, my eyes are telling me her footwork is not getting her in rhythm like it typically does.
The good news is for Oklahoma State, look at Gallagher-Iba hurdling Timmer to get into that ball and tying it up. It'll stay with Corpus Christi, but Oklahoma State generally has enough depth where if Gray has an off night, they've got other shooters. It should be pretty rare that we see like we did against St. John where they all are off on the same night.
Well, I think, you know, as I watched the game, it was the shots weren't coming as easy as they had been. And so you have to do extra things, better screening, better ball movement, more assertive, some patience thrown in there. But as we talked about, St. John's did a great job, but it wasn't just keeping a Gray or Timmer in particular from going off or even getting looks. I mean, they only allowed Timmer and Gray, what was it, 5 3-point shots between the two of them for the entire game.
And 16 total. This is an Oklahoma State team that came in 6th in the, well, now they're 6th in the country, so they were probably top 3 before that game in terms of 3-point attempts per contest.
It was the first game that they had to grind in the half court. And again, in your 18 conference games, Adam, there's a good chance 11 or 12 of those somewhere in there are going to be a lot like that St. John's game.
Whiting handled the pressure on the dribble and ended up going coast to coast to lay it in. That'll be the final bucket of the half as Oklahoma. She likely won the first half of play. All 4 of her field goal attempts in this game are from outside the arc. We'll see how quickly that changes here in the second half. Timmer behind the screen. Zone defense. Inside now, Akot. Hurd was coming right down the middle, but it's a floater, no good from Whiting. Missed her cut there. Right down the lane. Oklahoma State at one point went on a 25-0 run in the first half. They're falling behind 7-3 early. They've been in control ever since. There's foul number 3 on Staley Hurd. That one's a bummer. That's just an effort foul that didn't work out there.
Yeah, looking over at Coach Hoyt, she'll leave Staley in with those fouls. It's tough to get in rhythm. When you mentioned those 2 the first half, they protected her a little bit. Now picked up a third. Staley knows. I mean, she can be solid and tough and all the things, but you don't want to do anything like reach on the defensive end, go over somebody's back. She's got to pick her spots here in the next several minutes so that she can stay on the floor.
An offensive foul before this most recent inbounds play. Holiday picks it up. I've got that as her first personal. It's her second. It's always helpful to have Larry Reese keeping track of fouls for us.
Good pipes. He comes through our headset, right?
Akot pump fake the pass. Gray struggled from the field in the first half. Timmer did not. She's 4 for 5 now in the game.
Well, you definitely got to be there on the catch with her. You need space, particularly after she's made that initial one. She's going to knock those down at a high clip.
Takes the ball away. It's a 5-on-4 opportunity for Oklahoma State. Gray inside to Akot all alone. Couldn't finish the first time. She's fouled on the second attempt. And going back to Haley Timmer, I think it would have been easier for her after struggling in that game at St. John to come out and force some things here today. She really has, and all of her looks have been really good looks.
Yeah, no, she really doesn't force things typically. In fact, Coach Hoyt has talked to her since she has space and you have the ability to shoot it like you do. Fire it up there, and she's really in a, I don't know perfect right word, but it certainly fit well with her game. Oklahoma State plays fast, plays with tempo, and someone like Tim can get an open look and transition in broken floor situations.
Hurd came up with the steal. Whiting left it short. Hurd with the offensive rebound. Gray gets bumped. Cowgirls will keep it on the baseline. The foul against Holiday, that's her third. That's the kind of stuff we've gotten really used to seeing from Staley Hurd. It's the steal that comes up with an offensive rebound. We're used to seeing her everywhere.
Yeah, she can do it all. She really can. And it's not just the offensive end. She can guard 1 through 5 defensively at a pretty high level as well.
Timmer free, but able to pitch it back out. Skip pass right back to Timmer. Off the mark that time. Whiting nearly created the turnover in the backcourt. Cowgirls have done a nice job just forcing Corpus Christi to work to even bring the ball into the front court. There's an offensive foul. That is 3 fouls here just in the second half already on Kenari Holiday. 4 overall now.
Yeah, she's out there trying to do the right things and help those guards free them up with the ball screen. But when you do that out front in the open, you can get away with it, movement inside and pushing, and a little bit out of position physically in the interior, but out there on the perimeter, those officials will find you.
Hurd created some contact, couldn't finish. Got her stick back, and she's fouled. Staley Hurd on her grind right here in the second half. She has done a little bit of everything here in the early moments.
Well, she's just so physical. Missed the one on the left-hand side initially, stayed with it. She can create contact, she can absorb it, she can play through it.
Got the friendly roll. This feels like one of the more active stretches we've seen from her, maybe all year, but certainly since she got banged in that game against Oral Roberts.
Yeah, no doubt.
Long pass up the floor is knocked free by Gallagher-Iba. Out of bounds. Last touched by the Cowgirls.
Now, one thing that's hurt the Islanders is when those guards get the pressure in those double teams in the back court, you have to go help your teammate, flash to a window and come back to the ball, much like a wide receiver would come back to his quarterback. Maybe when they're rolling out and the play has been busted. And there's been a lot of times those guards for A&M-Corpus Christi have kind of been left out to dry and put in tough situations.
Trying to go inside here. Now a kick out 3 off the mark. Gallagher-Iba winning the race to the rebound. Girardi, they left her open. She left it short. Wooten though with the offensive board. Almost lost her footing. Girardi double teamed. And an offensive foul against Lena Girardi. Just her first personal.
Yeah, it's a good defensive play, but watch Girardi. Most freshmen would shy away from physical contact. Not this one, boom, right there. That's a charge. But Girardi's a physical guard. And she's an interesting and good combination, really. A lot of your shooters, particularly when they're young, don't like a lot of contact. Are going to shy away from it. Not Girardi. That's why you see her in the middle of rebounding at both ends of the floor.
Garrett kind of paid the price for stepping in front there. Full shoulder. 2-2-1 pressure here from the Cowgirls. And it causes a bunch of havoc. That's a 10-second violation. Watson could never get it cleanly. Turnover number 20.
One of the things tonight with Oklahoma State's pressure against A&M-Corpus Christi, they've turned them over, but it's allowed them to work on, to me, is just slowing up the offense, right? And the double teams are soft a long way away, right? So it's chewing up a lot of time. So against really good teams that handle it, what that does is you use it to chew up time, and then when they get it in the half court, they only have 10, 12 seconds to execute.
Wooten with the feed. Whiting is fouled. She'll go to the line.
So there's a couple of ways, right? You can use your pressures for turnovers. Like right here, got them extended. Easy opportunity, Wooten to Whiting right there. Or Oklahoma State can soften it up, their full court pressure. Make the opposing teams chew time and really takes those half court offenses out of rhythm.
Here's a question no one else has asked, or well, maybe somebody has, but I'm going to ask it to you anyway. Now that Whiting has put one hoop here, should Jaden Wooten get an assist for creating this opportunity?
That's interesting. That's interesting. Obviously, you do not.
You do not.
Technically. Now, my junior college coach, a guy named Don Summer, he is a legend. He was a Hall of Famer, and a big reason I was able to get healthy and improve and sign back at Oklahoma State. He believed that if you led that play and both free throws are made, that should be an assist.
I think it's reasonable, especially if they both go in.
Coach Sumner kind of did what he wanted, so I'm pretty sure that he told his stat person on those, give him an assist, whoever it was.
Yeah, that's
a great question, though.
It's easier to do then because you didn't have the watchers at home tallying. Or there was no ESPN Plus to be able to go back and watch those games.
Yeah, it was by hand for sure.
Timmer at the line for a couple here. We talked about the opportunity to bounce back. Certainly that was really Timmer's first opportunity to face a lot of adversity with this Oklahoma State squad. She's won a bunch of games in her college career, but Coach Hoyt said it today. Every team is going to react differently to that first time that they kind of get punched in the jaw. And I don't think that the jury is fully in yet on this reaction. As you mentioned, this weekend is going to be big for this Oklahoma State squad. But
yeah, there's a lot of ball left. I mean, there's no panic with Oklahoma State's team. And look, they played a ball club in New York. I mean, they were tough. And they were physical, and they are, I mean, if you watched it, they are excellent defensively. They contained, they were physical, they rebounded well, they were sound.
I think you can probably argue that it's also probably the most confident team that this Oklahoma State team has played this year as well.
Well, and if I'm St. John's, let's just be honest, and you got a very good Oklahoma State team coming in, and you're defensive minded, and they're averaging whatever they were going into the game,
7 or something like that. Yeah. They're down to merely 99 now.
If you have that mindset anyway, you are totally going, yeah, you're not doing that here, especially at our place.
Yeah.
If you're already kind of geared that way, which St. John's is, yeah, there's no way. I remember. A lot of people, man, I know there's another life. I coached. We were playing the national tournament, NAIA. Played the #2 team in the country. They were averaging 110 points a game. We were up 32-30 at half. And we ended up getting beat because they had a lot more talent. But and we were built, and our mindset was to guard. And so when you have that kind of
something over there, I think there might be a high school basketball team in attendance for tonight's contest. Cowgirls have forced 7 turnovers already here in the second half. They've given away 3 times themselves. A little zone defense here.
The Cowgirls showing zone out of the timeout.
2-3. 3-pointer off the mark. Cowgirls responding. 53-18 Oklahoma State. Whiting looking to set something up. Wooten lost the handle but got bumped. Jaden Wooten was getting a chuckle out of the opponent. In theory, the third quarter media timeout's coming up, and there it goes. Oklahoma State, well, same score as the last time we took a break. Not much happened. More action to come when we return to Stillwell.
It's also a zone that hasn't been extended, so they've basically tried to meet Oklahoma State at the three-point line, but as well as they move it when Wooten's in there, as good as she is driving to help, creating the help situations, it's really kind of been the three-point shot. There hasn't been a ton of opportunities in the interior. They only have Oklahoma State. Adam, let's see, they've only shot 18 times so far tonight inside the arc. Some of those have been jumpers or floaters.
That ball deflected out of bounds, but more good ball pressure from Oklahoma State. Wooten had 3 assists in the first quarter. Has not assisted since then, but does have 6 points on his 4 field goal attempts. And the Cowgirls force a timeout. Nearly got a 5-second call.
I think they did get the. I think they got the 5-second call. Yeah.
Oh, she tried to call timeout, but apparently it wasn't granted. So Oklahoma State forces turnover number 24. And the Islanders are prone to turning the ball over. 21 per game is in the top 40 in terms of most in the country, but the Cowgirls are set to blow well past that mark today.
Yeah, and they turned it over 29 times at A&M.
Hurd couldn't finish. Wooten underneath. Make it 4 assists as a top finish.
Good vision. Before the ball ever got to Wooten, Jaden understood what the play was going to be, what her decision would end up being.
Wooten in the corner again, instead to Hurd this time. Too strong. A caught physical rebound, slapped it back. Wooten splits defenders and got it.
Now Wooten is so sure with the ball. Low to the ground, but she is really strong. You know, a year ago as a freshman, it was not a situation where she wasn't physically ready to play at this level. A lot like Girardi in that sense. Here's that last play. A caught goes to the ground, broken floor. They don't get matched up. Wooten able to go right around Watson right there.
Caught almost set a screen in a way because she was on the floor and prevented a defender from being in that space. Cowgirls still have not allowed a point here in the third quarter. We're about to cross 7 minutes into the third. They put up 19 in that same time frame. Foul on Micah Gray. It's her first by my count. That's the team's 5th, so it'll be 2 free throws here for Corpus Christi. Marissa Shelton, 2 for 2 at the line so far this evening. And she has Corpus Christi on the board here in this second half. 6 points for Shelton is the team high for the Islanders. Micah Gray in transition. She got bumped by Watson. That's 3 on Watson, and Gray will go to the line where she's 1 for 2 tonight. Micah Gray, honorable mention All Big 12 a year ago. Competed for the 3-on-3 USA Nationals squad over the summer alongside a couple other Cowgirls. Gets the first free throw here. She had not scored in the second half either. Got them both. Still 2:45 to play here in the third quarter. Cowgirls continue to trap. They force another turnover as Walker steps on the baseline. Making 25 turnovers now for Corpus Christi in the game. But that being said, the Islanders were already turnover prone. What they have done is shoot the ball okay as a team. 37% from the field, 36% from behind the three-point arc has been pretty good, but those numbers are both in the 20s tonight.
Yeah, and, you know, they run good stuff, just Timmer right down the middle. And Coach Wilson, I mean, she knows what she's doing. They are just not strong ball handlers out front. I mean, there's decision-making is one thing, but when you're facing that kind of physical pressure, you have to be strong with it. Because what happens, you know, logic tells you, Adam, if you get out of double teams with strength, you have numbers on the backside. But Islanders have struggled with that tonight and most of the season. And Oklahoma State is athletic, got some length. And right there, boom, forces another turnover and an easy opportunity for Oklahoma State at the line.
Cotton has been a good free throw shooter all year, 85% coming into this contest. And she's now 4 for 5 this evening, making 5 for 6 and into double figures with 11.
Oklahoma State, J.C. Hoyt and her staff do a really good job of developing their 4s and 5s offensively. Look a year ago with Tenan Magassa, who came to Oklahoma State basically, and she was really good at it, a rim protector, a defender, and rebounder. She became a very important part of the offense as the season progressed, where they could throw it into her, and she was a legit threat with her back to the basket. Never in her career had she been developed there, even given that opportunity. So in a short period of time, basically one season or a few months, Oklahoma State was able to develop Magassa. And look at Akot, different type of player, an undersized 5. Averaged 7 points a game a year ago at UCF. But this year, she's been in double figures for the last 5 games. And in the last 3, Akot is averaging 17. So that tells you Oklahoma State offensively develops those players, finds out where they can best help the team. Akot more athletic and get her in space and runs the floor well, etc. Different than Magassa, but they're still getting production offensively out of her. And in a short period of time, she's never had that role in her career until she got to Oklahoma State.
And Akot, 13 points on 5 of 8 field goal shooting in that game at St. John's. There's a feed underneath and an easy bucket for Raina Williams, her first points of the contest. But the question for Akot moving forward is going to be, can she do that night in and night out in the physical Big 12?
Well, she does not have to average 17.
Sure.
Certainly. But you want to get something out of her. Now, she can cause problems also defensively, because she can play that into the floor pretty well for opposing teams. They can also switch with her 1 through 5 because she's so athletic and moves well. Nice find right there. Defense loses side of the ball, and there's Girardi doing a nice job away from the ball, getting herself to the foul line.
Yeah. And Akot, we just saw the feed there. She averages more than 2 assists per game, so she's capable of distributing the ball a little bit as well, as Girardi makes the first free throw.
What they need Akot to continue to do, more importantly than the scoring, is rebound the way that she has. As the competition goes up, as the size and strength and skill set goes up.
Whiting took it away off the save back in bounds. Now it's a scrum for it, and we have a foul. I believe against Williams. If that's the case, that's her 4th by my count. Oh, no, that's her 5th. So Raina Williams has fouled out of the game.
Well, I think what she's going to wrap around right there. So, yeah, that's... Yeah, both arms going around your opponent right there. They won't give you the jump ball in that situation.
So Williams is out with 5 fouls. Shelton has 4. Holiday has 4. Whiting makes the first free throw for the Cowgirls. 6 players with 7 or more now for Oklahoma State. Make it 9 for Whiting off the friendly roll. Oklahoma State has taken more free throw attempts than it has field goal attempts in the second half, 17 to 15. Deflection out of bounds. It'll stay with Oklahoma, or go to Oklahoma State rather. Turnover number 27 in the game. Approaching a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. And an offensive foul against Jaden Wooten. That'll be her first personal, just her second turnover of the contest. Kind of a bummer to see her pick up a turnover on an illegal screen, knowing that she's one of the leaders in assist-to-turnover ratio in the country.
Well, both turnovers haven't been because of poor decision-making or trying to thread the needle when something wasn't there with a pass.
Wooten's going to have a chance to be an X factor, and Brendan, I was interested with what they were doing with her early on in the game against the zone. Usually when somebody comes to the high post to break up one of those zones, it's a big. They had Wooten, though, come to the high post to do that, I think for a couple reasons. One, she distributes, but two, that's kind of her area where she likes to shoot the ball from, too. That could be an interesting wrinkle.
Yeah, and another reason you can do that with her, it's a good point, at her size, is because she handles it with strength. So if there's pressure and she's being pushed on, I mean, she doesn't get knocked off course. I mean, she's not very big in terms of height. She's lower to the ground. She's really athletic, and she's naturally strong. So you could put her in that situation, and she can take the heat or the pressure at that high post elbow area.
That one rattled out from Timmer. It'll stay with the Islanders off the loose ball there. J.C. Hoyt continues to have her defense strengthened. Oklahoma State outscoring Corpus Christi 28-7. Pass ahead. Timmer deflects. Timmer steals. Timmer kicks. Girardi. Ooh, a little bit sidestep for two.
Yeah, nice adjustment right there when the rotation came over. It was on Guerra right there, and Girardi's kind of sidesteps it.
Gray knocked it free, out of bounds right in front of us. And the Cowgirls have it with the shot clock off here as we approach the end of the third quarter. Oklahoma State had 40 points at halftime. They've had 30 here in this third quarter alone. Underneath, Timmer wide open, but she missed. Cowgirls have missed some very close range shots tonight and against St. John's on Wednesday. Her shot too late. And the Cowgirls lead big after three quarters.
It's been a direct result of defense, whether it's forcing turnovers or in the half court being solid, forcing a tough shot where you can corral the rebound and get out and run.
Three-pointer knocked down by Chelsea Wooten, her second of the game. Her first point since the first quarter.
And you can only, play the team or the game that's in front of you. And you just want it to play the right way. I think for the most part that they've done that. But truly, we talked about it already, Adam. The growth will come by what they do this weekend. In my opinion, how whether it's results in 2 wins or not, that remains to be seen. But they need to go away from home. Nice play right there and play well.
4 points for Kenira Holiday. All of a sudden, a little spurt here.
Like we also talked about, when they take care of it, they run good stuff. They know what they're trying to do. It's just if you keep turning it over.
Speaking of turnovers, Staley Hurd, who's usually wearing goggles, she has lost those. I'm not sure where they ended up. Oh, they ripped off, it looks like. They ended up over the baseline. So Girardi will come to get Hurd, who will need to get that fixed. Little 5-0 spurt here for Corpus Christi to start the half, and there is a reach-in foul against Achol Akat. That's her 5th, so she's done for the game.
Yeah, that's a good call right there by the officials. Akat, you reach across your body. She can just learn to reach with that left hand. Even if you make contact, you may not get the foul call. No question. Call out front.
Gray got to the corner in transition, and that may be where she's the most dangerous. As Whiting knocks it away, it'll stay with Corpus Christi.
Yeah, I think even going back to a year ago, Gray is most dangerous and more prolific from long range in transition. See right there, to me, see how she got her feet, the rhythm, the 1-2, the left, right. I felt like early in the game on some of her looks, that part of it to me, just my eyes are telling me just a little bit off, which happens sometimes with shooters, but that one, much more in rhythm. She did a great job of using her feet to get herself there.
So here's an interesting scenario. The whistle was blown for a 10-second
crew before the game. There's a little bit of conversation between us, and I just know this because my dad worked the book here at Oklahoma State for 30 some odd years. But they will tell the shot clock operator, that's me about to be a touch slow, not meaning wait 2 seconds.
Sure.
But if you're going to err on the ball coming in, this be a touch slow so you don't get into that situation right there, if that makes sense.
That makes sense to me. It's Maura Watson with a nice cut to the basket there on the dribble.
But ultimately, I mean, it's the officials that make that 10-second choice. It's not necessarily what is the shot clock.
Jaden Wooten with the offensive rebound. A little Dirk fadeaway, but couldn't get it to fall. Wooten from close range, got that one. She's into double figures with 10, her 5th consecutive game in double digits. Three-pointer from the corner is good. Hey, credit the Islanders for not giving up here. Coach Wilson's team making a run here. I mean, obviously the game is basically decided at this point, but they haven't gone away.
And Walker hasn't gotten a lot of those looks tonight, but I mean, that splash right there is certainly something she's capable of. Coming in shooting 50% from three-point range. She can really shoot it. They just haven't been able to get her a lot of looks. Here's another one.
Walker again, back-to-back.
She can shoot. And that's not an accident. In other words, what I was saying, the first one wasn't an accident.
Walker is 3 for 7 now in the game, and that forces J.C. Hoyt to take a timeout. And they've been better with that tonight. Timmer with 5, Whiting with 3, Jaden Wooten with 4 rebounds in the game as well. So the guards have done a better job hitting the glass this season. Favorite Ono in the game for the first time. Out to Timmer. She'll try again. Spins out. Walker tried to hand it back, but Wooten hadn't established herself yet in the front court. A little bit of an unforced error that time for Corpus Christi. A little 6-0 spurt here for Corpus Christi. Cowgirls trying to end that. Timmer turns the corner and got it. 20-point game for Haley Timmer. The leading scorer in the game by a fair margin. Girardi and the Cotter next closest with 11. Walker dumps it inside. A foul. Holiday will go to the line. She missed some time because she picked up her 4th foul with like 2 minutes into the 3rd quarter. She's been solid when she's been on the floor.
Yeah, she definitely, I mean, plays hard. She's physical. We talked about her coming off that good game against Texas State. West Georgia transfer. They've been able to connect with her multiple times tonight off that pick and roll.
The second free throw. She came in as a 53% field goal shooter on the year. She's 2 for 3 from the field tonight. Has turned it over 4 times. Gray starting to heat up a little bit. Rattles another one home.
They had to think it was just a matter of time. She's too good of a shooter. And she gets those open looks. You know, even when you can really shoot it at them and you're a little bit off. It's kind of like you get one to go down, you remember. That's right. I'm a elite shooter. Look at that pass. Wood just sees the floor so well, and she sees it early. That's why she makes all the plays that she does in terms of setting up her teammates.
I'll be honest, Brendan, I had looked down. I thought that she had passed it to somebody else before it got there. I underestimated the long passing abilities of Jaden Wooten. Up and under for Holiday, and the score.
Now Holiday, they want to throw it into her. We talked to Coach Wilson prior to tip. She said, obviously you play in Oklahoma State, they have more size and a little more depth in that 5 position.
How about Wooten with the 3-point bucket? That's something we've seen more from her early on this year.
Yeah, I like it when she knocks one of those down every once in a while. I'm sure she does too, but she'll get some of those opportunities in Big 12 conference play. There'll be a lot of teams that'll be so concerned about her taking you off the bounce. She'll have to do that every once in a while to get that space back.
Ono commits her second personal foul, both on Holiday. Holiday will go back to the line.
And there's that one from Wooten right here. Again, nice job of Whiting. Game slow to her. Wooten now made 4 3-point makes on the season.
Wooten, by the way, we mentioned she's top 15 in the country in assist to turnover ratio. She entered the day at a 4.3 to 1. She's at 3 to 1 today, so hasn't hurt her.
Pretty good as a freshman. 2+ to 1. Someone there a year ago. Talked about her improved decision-making choices, and that's why it's an even higher clip. Only made 7 threes a year ago. She's already made 4, so much more confident.
Finished at 22% from 3 years ago and is north of 40 at this point this year. Timmer, yes.
She had 2 choices there as she turned the corner. Was it Whiting or Timmer? And when she made one more dribble up the floor, I mean, that was a side pass on the money in rhythm for Timmer.
There's a foul, I believe, on Acker.
Here it is right here. Flashes, you talked about them putting her at the high post position. Comes up the floor, boom. See that last dribble? That made the decision for her. And the thing about Wooten, she delivers on time and in rhythm. Probably something we haven't talked enough about.
Well, and that's something that you kind of have to have a natural talent for. Like, you can work on improving that, but having a natural feel for setting teammates up is something she's got.
Yeah, like that. I mean, she threw that from her side, essentially, but it still had zip on it. I think that goes back. She just kind of has a natural strength to her.
She's tied a season high in rebounds today, by the way, with 5. Her career high is 6 against Richmond a year ago. And now 7 assists to just 2 turnovers in the game. Gray behind the screen. Too strong. Girardi tracks down the long board. Acker working in the post. Now she'll screen. Short jumper missed. Acker tried to tap it out, but Corpus Christi comes up with it. That one's thrown out of bounds. Boy, Pistol Pete didn't realize it, but he was in the danger zone. The goal stanchion was the only thing that kept that from hitting him in the dome. Thing's heavy enough as it is. You don't need to have it smacked upside the head with a basketball.
You ever put that thing on?
I think I did one time.
Yeah,
it feels.
You need broad shoulders, like literally. And it's got the padding, but I don't know what it is. It's got like 50 pounds.
You feel like is that the teacher from South Park? He's got the little tiny body and the big head.
I know I'm biased, but I've always thought he was such a cool mascot.
A live action mascot based on an actual person that's pretty tough to beat. Gray hits the first free throw. And you can hear him coming anytime he's got those guns on him. No shortage of firepower here in Stillwater, whether it be the offense or the weaponry. The football even upgraded the cannon this year. Girardi with the run through a steal. That's an easy look. That is 34 turnovers forced by the Cowgirls now tonight. Under 2 to play. Walker, nope. Acker with the board. Tyler Hurd in the game. I don't think we've seen Staley since she had her goggles knocked off earlier. Inside, beautiful feed. Was that another assist from Wooten? I think it was. 3 Cowgirls with at least 15 now. Wooten assist number 8. That's one shy of her career high set against Oral Roberts earlier this month. She's now on a 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio tonight. Walker can't get away from Gray. That was blocked. Rebounded by Acker for Oklahoma State. Pitch ahead. Girardi. One dribble. Finishes. Girardi's on her own personal run here. It's an 11-1 run for the Cowgirls in the last 2.5 minutes. Oklahoma State trying to get to the century mark for what would be a 5th time at home this season in 6 games. Cowgirls will improve to 6-0 at home. Oh, the fall away that time for Watson. She becomes the lone Islander in double figures with 11 after that jumper. And with the shot clock off, the Cowgirls don't need to shoot it again. Well, 98 points. I believe the lowest total in a home game for Oklahoma State this season, but certainly nothing to shake a stick at. Oklahoma State more than doubles up Corpus Christi and wins it 98-45.
Yeah, Oklahoma State did what they needed to do.